Next question coming in from Scott Marquise. What moves does Boston want to make right now? Well, right now they can't make any moves because the NBA trade deadline is passed. They can no longer bring any players in through the buyout market. Scott, maybe you're asking what should the Celtics do in the future? I think looking ahead, if they're able to bring in a big man who kind of has a well-rounded game, a guy who can stretch the floor, kind of like a modern-day big. Even if it's like a player like Miles Turner, I'd like to see the Celtics go after a big who can kind of hold the fort down low, because for the next few years at least, you're looking at going up against big men in the Eastern Conference, the likes of Joel Embiid and Bam Adebayo, and I don't think the Celtics have a big man on their roster right now that in a 7-game series, a guy can stop. Clowney is a brownie. Creative name there. I'm guessing that Jadeveon Clowney likes brownies. He's still cut, though. While rebuilding a team, who do you want, Devin Booker or Jayson Tatum? I'll go Jayson Tatum. I think you win NBA championships nowadays and throughout NBA history with a wing. LeBron James, Kawhi Leonard, Michael Jordan, Kobe Bryant, Larry Bird. Wings traditionally have won you titles. Devin Booker, more of a guard. Now I understand. Steph Curry, he has 3 titles. He has 2 MVPs. Might win a scoring title this year. He's a human highlight reel. Devin Booker, he's like that as well. But I think Tatum, because he's a little bit of a better defender, and I like his well-rounded game as far as a player I would want to rebuild with. Tony 2 times, do you think teams should not underestimate Boston and watch out for them upsetting big teams in the playoffs? Tony, I'll tell you this. I think the Celtics are a really dangerous team come playoff time. They made it to the Eastern Conference playoffs last year. The last couple of years, they have had playoff success. And it's easy for us to forget that Jayson Tatum is 23 years old. Yet, he's like right in that conversation of being a top 10 player in the league right now and has been playing like an MVP. So I think Boston, because Tatum's been playing like he has, because you have Jaylen Brown, one of the best coaches in the entire league, and Brad Stevens, I think the Celtics are certainly dangerous when the playoffs come around. Brandon Bix asking this. The Celtics are streaking. What's allowed them to play better, and can they make a run? Few things here, Brandon. So Kemba Walker has started to play really well. Jayson Tatum has looked like an MVP player over the last couple of weeks and has just upped his aggressiveness. And also, the Boston Celtics combined as a team, Brandon, have missed more than 140 games because of COVID protocols. Think about that. In a sport that looks on TV like poetry in motion, and when you watch it in person, looks like poetry in motion, you need some form of consistency, continuity. The Celtics have not been able to have any form of continuity this season at all, and they've missed more than 140 combined games because of COVID. Now that they're starting to get healthier, you're seeing a more consistent team right now. So if you think the Celtics are dangerous, hey, get into the comments and let me know. From Supreme Lord 305, you are supreme. Does Boston sign Isaiah Thomas with their last roster spot? I think the days of Isaiah Thomas in Boston are gone, but I will tell you this, Supreme Lord. We were talking about Isaiah Thomas the other day because his 10-day contract with the New Orleans Pelicans had expired, and we looked at his numbers from when he was a borderline MVP player a couple of years ago, and Isaiah Thomas, when he was balling out for the Celtics, was like ridiculous a couple of years ago. I'm trying to bring up his numbers because he was absurd. Like one of the best single seasons in recent basketball history because of his size. So 2016-17 with Boston, Isaiah Thomas, Supreme Lord, averaged 28.9 points per game on 46% shooting and almost 38% from 3. And for a guy to do that at 5'9" in the current NBA, really impressive. But again, that was 2016-17, okay? Boston, they don't need him right now. Question. Nathanella Sabell Blake, which teams do you think might win the NBA Finals? Lakers if they're healthy, Sixers possibly, Brooklyn Nets, even though it would be one of the most fascinating stories of all time because that trio of Harden, KD, and Kyrie will enter the playoffs most likely only having played 7 games together. Could you see a team like the Boston Celtics surprise a lot of people? Possibly. The Milwaukee Bucks, are they going to find postseason success? They've been playing much better of late. Could the Denver Nuggets without Jamal Murray do it? I don't think so. Los Angeles Clippers, I like them because they've been playing a lot better. So my leaders in the clubhouse right now, I'd go Sixers, Nets, Lakers, Jazz, Suns, and Clippers. Those 6 teams are teams that I think can win the NBA Finals. Next question coming in from P2 Win. Do you think Trent Jr. is a true star level in him? I think I know what you're trying to ask there. Do you think Gary Trent Jr. has star potential? Star potential? I'm not sure about star potential, but this is what I like when I see Gary Trent. He can knock down shots from the outside at a consistent rate. He can get to the basket. He can kind of score from all 3 levels. He can defend. He's very competitive. We know that he has a great pedigree because his pops played in the league as well. And he's only 22 years old. So Norman Powell, he's going to be a restricted free agent this year. He's probably going to demand a lot of money. Gary Trent Jr., I think he's the better player. I think he's the better value. Star potential, I'm not sure about star potential yet, but as a 3rd or 4th option on a contending team, I really like him. Appreciate that question. Franco Leonardis chiming in. Lonzo to OKC rumors are heating up. Do you like the fit, and could it be a sign and trade? It could be a sign and trade because Lonzo Ball entering the offseason is going to be a restricted free agent. So basically how that works is the Pelicans can offer Lonzo Ball a contract, but so too can another team. And if another team offers Lonzo Ball a larger contract than the Pelicans can either match or Lonzo Ball can leave. As far as him going to OKC, I don't love the fit. I like what OKC is doing right now. It's a silent and clear tank to me, and they have some good young players on the roster. They're certainly building for the future. I'd love to see Lonzo go to a point guard needy team like the New York Knicks. That would be my destination for Lonzo Ball. Dom Towney, does Atlanta get DeRozan or Oladipo in free agency? If I go one way, I'd go DeMar DeRozan. I still think at this point of his career, he has some gas left in the tank. He's a really good pick and roll player. He's a good pull-up jumper. Never been a big three-point guy, but I do like DeMar DeRozan as a veteran fit for a really young Atlanta Hawks team. Oladipo, not really sure about that. I'd rather go DeMar DeRozan. Desmond Dipper with the next question. Yo, Chase. Yo, Desmond. What it do? Do you think Jayson Tatum is a top 10 player? Interested in getting your thoughts. Over the last few weeks, Jayson Tatum has certainly played like a top 10 player. And producer Jeremy, who's doing his first NBA Now show today, recently I put together my list of top 10 players. So if you can kind of get that up, I'd appreciate that. Jayson Tatum is close for me to becoming a top 10 player, and I'd honestly think about putting him at number 10. Here are my top 10 players right now in the NBA as we record this on April 23rd. I still have LeBron James as the best player in the league, followed by Kevin Durant, even though injury concerns have haunted him over the last couple of seasons. Steph Curry, still one of the most valuable players in the league. He's my 3rd best player. Kawhi Leonard comes in at number 4. James Harden is 5th on my top 10 list, followed by Joel Embiid, who could be in that top 5 conversation given the way that he's playing this year. Giannis, Jokic, Damian Lillard, and I have Jayson Tatum in there at number 10. Some of you might be thinking, Chase, you're crazy. How could you have Jayson Tatum in there ahead of a guy like maybe Zion Williamson or Bradley Beal or a whole list of other superstar players? For this reason, if I had Jayson Tatum on my team right now in the playoffs, it's my firm belief that Jayson Tatum could carry me to the conference finals. I think he is that good. And also, in putting together this list recently, I found it nearly impossible to put together a list of top 10 players in the NBA right now. That's great news for the league because there is just a litany of talent all across the league, making this list to put together almost impossible. So for everybody watching right now, what do you think of my top 10 players in the NBA list? You can be honest with me. The one thing I appreciate about our Chat Sports viewers, they are passionate, they are honest. If you think this list is great, type G. If you think it's straight up trash, That's fine. You can type T for trash. I can take the heat. I can get down with it.